Okay, hi and welcome to another episode of Sunday Vibes at NST Podcast. And here we are again, myself and Elena Koshi, as usual. But we do have a special guest today joining us for this show. He is super multi-talented, extremely creative, and I'm not going to bother introducing him for myself or by myself because I'll let him speak for himself. It's Azroz Mohd. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having me.
You're looking very handsome today.
Try my best.
Okay, then maybe before we dive into the show, just share a little bit about who you are.
Okay, so as you introduced me myself just now, my name is Azroz. So a lot of people call me by the name Roy.
Right.
Yeah, there's a
Roy.
there's a funny thing about my name.
Why?
My Surat Berana and my Surat IC is different.
Really now?
Can you get away with that?
My Surat Berana is Azroy.
Azroy, that means A-Z-R-O-Y.
IC is Azroz.
Oh.
So you know how old people dulu dia orang tulis kan, the Z and the Y.
Oh, macam sama
Zat,
lah. Ya.
yeah.
When they do cursive kan?
Cursive things.
Oh dear.
So by Darjah Hanam from Standard 6, IC came out Azroz. So I'm just like, well, it make it unique.
Oh,
I might
yeah,
stick
it's
with
different. It's
it
different.
instead of Azroy.
Okay.
Because people always make fun of that name.
Azroy.
Yeah.
Okay, but shall we just call you Roy for today?
Yeah, sure,
It kind of
not a
sounds kind of
problem.
sexy,
Yeah,
no?
sounds
Yeah.
very nama glamour, right?
Okay, and he is quite glamorous, Okay,
I know,
just
I know.
tell us what else you do because I know
Okay.
you dance.
Yeah, I'm a part-time fitness instructor. So I do Zumba and also HIIT training. And then my full-time is actually senior lecturer. So I'm a lecturer in UITM.
Oh,
What do
Elena
you
suddenly got
lecture?
excited.
I'm teaching creative industry management.
Ooh.
So more on and then also on the film side because I'm also a line producer, and directors.
Yeah, so he's working on a movie, or have you just completed a movie?
I completed 2 movies.
Two movies,
So
you see?
last year I did which is everyone is waiting for Duyung 2,
With Maya Karin.
Maya Karin, and then I just finished as well, which is Pukau.
Ooh, that sounds
Pukau
like a horror show.
is a psycho thriller.
Ooh, okay, right up my alley.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that 2 movie is coming out this year.
Right.
If you need some psychotic people like acting like ghosts,
My friend.
I will audition.
So that's why I said that Roy is multi-talented, super creative. So he wears many hats. But his many hats is not what we're going to be talking about today. Unfortunately.
As fascinating as it is.
As fascinating as it is. But today's topic was triggered by something that he did.
Okay.
But also something that I happened to chance upon on social media as I was scrolling, as usual. So basically, the topic is about how your second act isn't about more. It's about meaning. And when I say second act, I mean the second phase of our lives. And it happened with Roy because he just turned... Am I allowed to say?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, he just turned 40, although he doesn't look 40. And I remember his social media posts got kind of reflective and pensive, which is completely not, his usual style because he's very happy-go-lucky. But it sounded like he was pondering the meaning of life.
Ooh,
And where he was at that stage. And like I said, I saw something on social media which another lady had written about. She was going through menopause and she was talking about how priorities have changed, how different meanings are now attached to, life as you get, as you get older, in other
Right.
words, right? El, you would resonate with you, no?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's our topic for today. Okay, so I notice as we get older, success starts looking a little bit different.
Very
Correct.
different.
Very,
It's
very.
not about choosing more anymore. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay, so with that in mind, I'll just kick off with the first question.
Okay.
Okay,
Let's shoot it.
Elena, let's go with Elena.
Oh dear. But
we-
no, it's right up my alley. I'm the queen of second acts.
Yes, right, there you go, queen of second acts. When you were younger, okay, can you just
long
recall
time ago.
a long time ago? Can you try to remember what did success look like to you? Okay, and how has that definition changed now? What was success to you back, I don't know, when you were in
Okay.
your teens or at college?
When I was in my 20s, success meant a career that, climbing up the corporate ladder, earning lots of money, having a house, a car, a big car, getting married, having a cottage with a white picket fence.
At the
And
age of 20?
Oh
Wow,
yes,
you were planning so far ahead.
I had big dreams and
Goals.
goals. Well, yeah, sort of goals.
Okay.
Yeah. So I had a lot of plans and a lot of things that I thought I would accomplish. Before I hit 30, because that time 30 seemed like a
so
lifetime away,
old, right?
And then that time when you're 20, 30 is like you're a damn old man.
Okay,
you know?
Chu. When you were 15, can you remember what success was to you? Or was that not even...
Okay, when I was 15, I loved writing.
Okay.
I dreamt of being a writer. I always loved it. And my father had this old typewriter. That time had typewriter, back in the days.
Pukul balik.
The tuck, 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 tuck.
The one with the ribbon.
Yes, with the ribbon. And then if you make a mistake, you use the liquid paper and then...
Tipex.
Tipex. For mine, not so glamorous. Tipex, mine was liquid paper. I'm sure some of you would know what that means.
Oh.
But yeah. So I had this typewriter and I used to write short stories. I write
at
short
15,
stories
wow.
at 15 years old because the whole glamorous part of typing, make you feel like a writer back then lah. You feel like a writer, tuck, 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 like that. Yeah.
Right.
So I dreamt of being a writer.
Okay. Wow. What about you, Roy? Can you remember, like when you were younger, what was success to you?
When
Well,
you're 15.
15 then.
I'm
Start with 15.
Let's
How about
start
Start with 15.
Yeah.
Okay. One thing about me is look at my background first, because I'm from a mixed heritage family. So my mom is Chinese, my dad is a Muslim.
Okay.
So being young, Chinese have a different school of thoughts,
Okay.
and being Muslim have a different school of thoughts.
Oh, that's interesting.
So I have that both. Chinese will always ask you, learn as high as possible, score as much as you can. You have to be successful in this and that and that. You come back, if your math fail, your mom will like, how's your result and like that and whatnot.
Yeah.
You are Chinese, you're supposed to eat like that and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I remember I started to memorize Sifi by the age of 5.
Oh,
Wow.
my.
1 to 12, and then straight away until 99.
Wow. I
Aiyo,
feel
that
so
time
small.
So I have to.
I was trying to color in
Hafal
between the
already.
lines. That was my aim.
And then being Muslim as well, my dad always like, with religion, have to be humble, stuff like that. But then, because I'm not from a wealthy family, so by the age of 15, that is when I started legally working.
15.
15 and schools.
Okay.
Okay.
But
Alright.
I started working illegally by the age of 12.
Doing what?
So
What were you selling?
Because my mom, she's a cook, so I will go to where she cooks and whatnot to help her clean the stuff, clean the plates, put the food on the tables and whatnot, and
Oh
bring
my.
back and stuff like that, to earn own pocket money. Because my mom, I always say, if you want something, you have to earn for it.
Yeah.
Even my first mountain bike, I bought it the age of 15, from the money I collected from 12 onward.
Wow. I'm
So
impressed.
I bought my first bike.
I feel like such an underachiever. I only had a typewriter. That's what my father gave
And
me.
it was
Then
even- that's your dad's.
Yeah, then 15 legally working. I already start working in what we call a metal shops.
Oh.
So by the age of 15, I know how to build gates,
Gates.
windows, cutting that machete and things.
I don't know. I need to look back at my life choices now.
Yeah, because my mom always say, with skill, you can go anywhere. You can survive anywhere.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So that has been always pushing me
Uh-huh.
to get as much as knowledge as possible, as much skill as possible. So I learned how to sew, I learned how to build stuff at a very young age.
Okay, but as you got older, maybe after college, did the definition of success, did that change?
I think the definition of success changed when my first phase of life, 30 lah, I would say.
Oh, 30, that's quite late.
Yeah, by the 30, because I still doing I finished my master at the age of 24.
I feel an
I don't know.
underachiever. I think I better like just
I just want to
exit this.
get up right now and
Me too.
quietly go out of the room and
Yeah, yeah.
think about my life.
Yeah,
But
I
then,
think so. I'll join you.
while I'm doing my study as well, even my diploma time and whatnot, I still work. So
Right.
part time, I'm in the creative industry. So I already started working with production houses, roll cables, things like that, to be knowing the skills. So by the time I finish my study, not only I have the scroll, I have the experience of working as well,
Okay.
and
God.
easily get hired lah.
Okay, please make me feel better. You
I'm
15
just-
years old, you were working also.
Oh yes, I was.
Damn.
I was doing part-time work in a bakery. That was illegal because we're not supposed to be, working at that age. But I was in London then. Right. So like for me at the age of 15, it was success meant, winning the netball league because I was playing netball, right, for the local league, and then like getting the guy that you are,
Having an eye on.
Yeah.
But we are quite active, when we're young. Everything we want to do.
I
Yeah,
know.
that's
in sport
right.
lah,
That's
in
right.
that,
You
in
wanna excel in
that,
everything.
In uniforms, so on and so
I was
forth.
just
Correct.
content typing.
But then we reach certain age, we're like, man, I'm tired.
Yeah, true.
So that's where we start looking, what am I looking for actually?
But I didn't get an epiphany like so early on, because I
also.
remember I was still like, at the age of, in my 20s and even in my 30s, I think. For me, success meant having enough money to go to my next trip in Europe, or I don't know, being able to go to restaurants and not have to look at the price because, I didn't, I could eat anything. So that was success. But I didn't get this early epiphany like what you seem to have had. I don't know, maybe because we had... I
Maybe
don't know,
different bring up, different
upbringing.
educations as well.
But then again, my parents were always pressing us on the importance of working hard because, like I said, I started earning money actually at the age of 14 because my dad was always the sort that said, if you want something, work for it.
Yeah.
And because we were so reluctant to ask our parents for money because you'd be given the,
Shortcut.
Spanish Inquisition, you'd be asked, from A to Z, why, what, when, where. So you didn't want to have to go through all that. So the obvious thing to do was just earn your own money. So if you want to go to Europe, okay, then go and earn your own money. So I worked in a bakery. I worked in Yao Han Bakery. I worked in Tesco's. I worked in everything, starting from part-time and then full-time. And the moment I got money, I went to Europe. So for me, success was, okay, I've got my passport, I've got my ticket. So that was success back then. You, Elle, are you still feeling like an underachiever?
I still feel like an underachiever because 15 years old, I wasn't working at all. I think I had quite a sheltered upbringing in that sense.
Okay.
But mine was very traditional because, being in an Indian family and all that, of course, education was really stressed upon. And also, you have to be either a doctor, lawyer, engineer, or work in a bank at the very least. My father...
You got the bank.
Yeah, I
You
got the bank. At
right?
least I got the bank. But it wasn't what I wanted.
Yeah.
But my dad had different ideas for me because for my parents at that point, they thought, if you work in a bank, you will get bank loan, housing loan, you can buy your house.
Easy, everything lah.
Everything is there. It's a secure job. Banking that time is a very secure job.
Right.
So therefore you need to work in a bank. So I was like, okay, fine. That's what you
Yeah.
really want me to do.
Yeah.
And I think I didn't get that epiphany myself because I think I worked in the banking industry for 17 years. But I was not happy because I mean, I did what my parents wanted me to
Yes.
do. And I think also, right, when you're younger, you tend to... You don't really... I mean, sometimes it's like what your parents expect. It's meeting your parents' expectations.
Yeah, that's true.
Not necessarily your own, because you feel that once you meet your parents' expectations, you're considered successful. Because you like what they wanted you to do, you did. So
Right.
therefore, in their eyes,
Right.
you have done that,
Right.
and so you're successful.
Okay.
Yeah.
That sounds like the first act. Now, remember,
It's
the
still-
title of
it's
this.
still the first act.
It's the
that's right.
first
But
act of your
It took me
life.
17 years
Right.
to even
To-
get to the second act because after 17 years, I started to question my choices because I didn't enjoy what I was doing. It was, of course, a stable job. You get your bonuses, your share options,
Yeah.
and all that. And if I remain in the bank, I would have been somebody.
A CEO.
not CEO lah, but I mean, relatively, I would have been comfortable.
Right.
But then I didn't enjoy what I was doing. So,
Okay, that's interesting because that will
Yeah.
bring me on to the following question.
Ah.
But like Roy, I'd like to ask,
Yeah.
what triggered that moment that when you had that wake up moment when you realized that you needed to do something that would, for you, bring meaning
Yeah,
as
at
opposed to
30.
more?
Okay. This is sort of thing that it's quite weird about me is I talked to my mom about this before as well. I always say to her, even some of my friends, I don't think I will live long enough.
Oh, really?
I always have that. I always have these weird dreams that sometimes deja vus and stuff, but I never dreamt about me being old.
So you're
That's
always young.
interesting.
You're Peter Pan.
Either that or I will never reach that age, meaning I'll
Conk.
Kong lah.
Oh dear.
So
Okay.
that's why I always wanted to, get as much things done as possible. But then,
Interesting.
not only just milestones that I want to achieve, but I want people remember what I have done, what I have done for them, and how they can use it to utilize for long terms as well. So whenever I do something, I want it to be able to leave. We call it a mark.
It's like creating your own legacy.
Yeah, creating my legacy. People remember that for me.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
When did you think that you were not going to? I mean, when did you ever think in your head that, okay, you know what, I need to do as much as possible because I don't have that infinite amount of time. I only have this finite number of years.
You go.
When did you get that? Ding.
Did something happen?
It's
Yeah.
not something happened. Like I mentioned just now, my mom is a cook.
Yes.
But she cooked for dead people.
Okay.
You know,
Oh,
the
for
Chinese
dead people.
The Chinese, when they die, they have that cooking coming in caterings and stuff.
Okay,
I've
that's
been
very
I've been exposed to funerals
cook for
from a
dead
very
people.
young age.
Right. Maybe that's why.
From a very young
yeah
age.
lah,
So
when you're
as my
exposed to
age
that.
grow older and older, for me, I'm one step closer to the end.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and every time I pass certain age, I will always have this moment of, damn, I'm going for 30. When I'm 29, I'm hitting 30.
I'm nearer and nearer to my...
Now I'm 39, I'm hitting 40.
Oh my God. Okay.
Now I'm feeling slightly morbid because I'm feeling like I'm having one leg dangling over an
your
open
grave.
grave or something. Where I need to touch wood or throw salt over my shoulder or something.
Crystal wear the whole body. But that's how I think, my train of thoughts.
That's very
Like when I was
interesting.
hearing you were going for vacations, you aim for that and
Yeah.
whatnot. I never aimed for vacations.
Right.
I never aimed for it. I just wanted to have, enough money to live comfortable, one, and to make my parents comfortable.
Right.
That's about it. And if I have extras, then I might able to help others as well. Yeah, it's
That's-
never about
Yeah.
me getting super rich, but of course, if you want to help people, you must have enough money lah.
Right.
Else you won't be able to help people also.
That's
Yeah,
interesting.
so it's things like that. And when I being a management guy, because I always in creative industry management and whatnot, and being a science stream student, I do things step A, step B, step C,
Meticulously.
step D, like that properly. And when I go into certain environment, I will think why they are doing this. Why don't they do like this? Then I will start giving my idea to slowly change them to become a better version of whatever they are practicing now. And then I'm happy when I find out when I left the company, they are still doing what I taught them.
So leaving
used
a
to be.
legacy then, some
Yeah.
kind of legacy.
So that's my aim. It has been always like that.
Interesting.
Did you ever feel that your time is finite?
Who, me?
Like, I mean,
Oh man, I'm just so, I don't know, preoccupied with it. This is so funny because last night I couldn't sleep. You know, I kept waking up because all I could think about was death.
Oh,
You know,
Great.
and mortality and how fleeting time is. And how
Fleeting.
yes, how fleeting everything is, really. Relationships, life, it's like at the end of the day, right, no matter what you're chasing, or even if you hold on to something, you're not going to have it forever.
True.
It's just going to go. So that's why when like I said, I couldn't sleep, and top of my mind was, and I actually broke down in tears in the middle of the night, because I was thinking, there's not enough time to do more for my parents, because my parents are getting old. And then I'm like, what can I do that will allow me to be the best that I can be in my work life, but at the same time not having to sacrifice time with my family and my parents. My
It's all
parents
about
being more so.
balancing.
Trying to find the
But
balance.
balance is hard.
Yeah, that's what I say, in a way, right? As you get older, your priorities change. There's a shift, right? When you're younger, you're thinking, oh, bonus makes me excited. I want
Yeah.
the best job, the best car, the best. Right now, all I'm thinking of is like, God, can you give me a bit more time?
24 hours is not
just a
enough.
little bit more time, and comfortable is good enough. So
Yeah.
if I can bring in enough to be able to make my parents' life easier, so that they are not left wanting for anything, and I can still be able to pursue my passion, which I don't think is high maintenance. I mean, at the end of the day, sports is good for your health, and also, yeah, travel broadens the mind. It's not vacation, as you mentioned. For me, it's traveling. You meet people, you
New
see
peoples and
culture, you
whatnot, yeah.
experience, and experience is priceless. You're not going to be able that one you can't put an amount to. And it's something, it's like making memories, being able to have things that you can look back on and think, yeah, I lived life. I didn't just exist. But to be able to do that, of course, you have to have some money, but no longer do I wish to have so much money that I can, I don't know, buy the latest car, the latest phone, or because I don't really crave for that anymore. Like
Even when we have too much money also,
Yeah.
we are feeling insecure as well.
yeah,
We will always live in afraid. Somebody coming to rob my house.
yeah, and then you start having safes and
You start questioning your safety when you
Yeah.
goings and whatnot, and then people will put on a certain expectation of you.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to borrow money from you, and you say, "Oh, cannot lie, I don't have money." Well, you make so money like that. Why can't I borrow?
expectations. Yeah. But then
Yeah.
again, you know what? With life, right, it's never enough. So if you cannot say it's enough, then you will be perpetually not contented. It's just be contented and work with what you have. But like I said, I'm not saying having more money or maybe having a better position
Yeah.
in work. It's not the title that I crave, it's what it brings. So if what it brings allows me to give my parents a better life or more comfortable life, that's all I want. Actually, now as you get older, right, it's no longer about you. You mentioned that earlier,
Yeah.
right? It's no longer about you. It's what you can give or do for other people. And that gives you a bigger satisfaction. Don't you think, Al? You're looking very pensive, Al. What have I done now?
no,
First it
yeah,
was Roy.
No, but I think for me, I think the very fact that you talk about your mortality and you understand that, because when you're 20s, I mean for me when I was in my 20s, 30s,
You're so
you
far
kind
to
of
go.
think, right, it's like you're going to live forever, things are
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
going, you don't think about sickness,
Yeah.
health or death, God forbid, you don't think
Yeah.
about that. You are living, you're living your best life, kind of, or you're doing a lot of things. But then as you get older, for me, when I got into my 40s and onwards, let's put it that way, mortality was one of the things that struck me, because I realized that we only have this one life. There is no second round, or there's no do-over.
Yeah.
Correct.
So that one life, I came to a point where I was going to ask myself, am I going to live it trying to meet other people's expectations, or am I
Yeah.
going to do something that I want to do, or I want to pursue? And for me, coming to that crossroad led me to pivot. And I kept pivoting, I think, until in my late 40s. I was still pivoting. I still had like second X, third X. So I don't think, I think knowing that your mortality, I think it's a very wise thing. Because for us, as Christians, in the Bible, it says, teach us to number our days.
Oh.
Okay.
There's a verse that says that, teach us to number our days, which means that teach us help us realize that our days are numbered. We have a very finite time on earth. We're not going to live forever.
Yeah.
So, like you said, legacy,
Yeah.
doing things that mean a lot to you. I think,
Yeah.
those are the things that causes us to get a second wind or second act.
Yeah.
And then also, how now the technologies. So you keep seeing. Last time we are not exposed to the internet that much.
Right.
Yeah.
News are not
Absolutely.
at the on your
fingertips,
palm.
yeah.
Now you can easily see this certain age like Georg already.
Died.
This certain age.
I
Yeah.
know.
No.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Damn.
some people are so young.
Yeah, correct.
And then they pass down and so on. So I'm like, okay, my dad used to say to me, we are on earth, we have a mission. Okay? The moment the mission is done, you will be called back.
Whoa.
Time to go home.
You'll be called back.
God, why are we talking about this? So
you
morbid
don't know.
lah, we
So
all.
you don't know what
But-
will
no,
happen.
but that's
that's when
interesting.
I'm thinking, okay, I need to get my
Shit together.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now that you're talking about, 6 feet under, you came to this world with nothing and you will leave with nothing.
Nothing.
All right. So material goods all.
Duit, baju, all gone lah. But then the legacy is
The
the one we
legacy.
want
So-
to
To
leave
wipe a
behind.
tear right
yeah.
now.
So what will people remember you
You
for? Right? So this is what I mean, when you come to the latter part of your life, would you agree that then life becomes more meaningful?
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
Right.
I
But-
think your idea of success changes.
Oh, definitely.
Your idea of life and how to live it changes.
Right. So, okay,
Yeah.
then that brings me to this question. If money and status were no object, what would your meaningful life look like today?
Money and object
Status,
is
no object,
no object. So
No object.
I have infinite amount of
yes.
monies and
But
stuff.
what would a meaningful life for you look like?
Well, one thing for sure is, for me, is to help people as much as I can. That's one thing that I will believe to do and will do. So like me being in the creative industry, so maybe I will open a studio
Okay.
that can get these young people come and do whatever crap they want to do, make mistakes,
Right.
learn without worrying. If they
Right.
do mistake, it don't going to cost them. So I want them to think that this is a platform for you to make mistakes without need to worry about the cause and effects. Because I will be the one bearing it,
Okay.
helping you and whatnot. And guiding as well. I believe that when we grow older, like me now hitting 40, I always believe I'm 18
18.
years
Nice.
old, but
Yes.
with it, X amount of experience.
Right.
So the 40 is just
It's just a number.
just a number.
Yes.
But then it makes us more matured. When we're young, when the first act of life, we just do thing langgar dinding.
Yeah, that's right.
Hit
Actually,
it
yeah.
or grab it, whatever.
Don't care
everything.
the consequences.
But now, when I reach 30, that's my first realization is whatever I'm do will have effect. So I start to become more careful with what I'm doing.
And responsible.
Yeah. Now, hitting 40, I'm trying to find a sweet balance for that. Yeah, sweet balance. So like back to your question, if I have infinite amount of money and things, helping people is one thing.
Yeah.
Definitely, for sure. Second is if my parents still around, make them proud. And the third is I don't want people to worship, wow, Roy, or Tan Sri Roy or whatever. No, I'm not looking for that. Even I'm doing my PhD, people say, you definitely aiming for getting a title doctor in front of your name. I said no. I'm in the education world. I need to reach the highest peak of education. And what it is? A PhD.
Right.
So I want to hit it. Like in fitness industry, to become the highest rank in the fitness industry, for example, my Zumba. So we have the normal Zumba instructors, and then we have the trainer, which is the jammer, and then we have the education specialist, ZES. By right, if my thought is like that, I want to hit ZES. So that I will be representing Southeast Asia. They always will have one education specialist in region. But then for me, no. Zumba fitness is about building community. So I am no longer hunger for classes.
Right.
Last time when I first started as a fitness instructor, I have 19 class per week. Now I left with only 2. But this 2 class is the one that I care the most. For me, they spend, yes, dancing 1 hour with me, but you have to think about they have to spend at least 1 hour traveling time. They put their time, schedule your class to come to you. So what am I going to do as a return? I'm going to give them the best experience possible. Because I know they work tired and whatnot. They come here to release, to have fun, not to think about work. That is what I want to deliver for them. Yeah, I will make sure that I deliver that for them as well. When I'm teaching in classes as well, I don't just teach from the book. I always tell my student, if you are expecting a lecturing reading from slide, I might as well give you a book and you go back and read. It's always a two-way communications. I will always ask them, okay, what do you heard this time in the news? What you learned today? Let's have a conversations. Then we will relate with the slide, with the topics and whatnot. And I think it makes what I did success maybe, because we have that, what we call evaluations. I never have evaluation score lower than 90 from student.
Well,
Wow. Feel like
So
such an
it's-
underachiever.
So it's always there. And being in educations, like me being study Chinese background, have to push forward. My diploma, I graduated with, my SPM is bad lah. Now SPM you can see people 10A, 11As. Wow.
scary.
I'm like telling my nephew, I only have 2 A's, uncle only have 2 A's. But then when I go into university, I'm most lucky to be able to get into university. My diploma, I get 3.9.
Wow, okay.
My degree, I get 3.9. My master, I get 3.9.
Well,
And currently, I'm doing my PhD because it's half coursework and whatnot, for flat.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
So that's like
Motivates you also.
motivates pushings and whatnot. And then people will see, you see, Uncle Roy can do that and do this, do this. Then you can maybe learn something, 10% of it. And then that's what I will be happy
be
about.
inspired.
Yeah.
What about you, Al? If money and status no object,
What was the question? Money, status,
Money,
no
status,
object.
objects, what you would do?
What would your meaningful life look like?
I honestly think I am living a meaningful life now.
Oh, you do?
I feel that I'm doing what I love. Always wanted to be a writer. I'm a writer now. Maybe I do more traveling. Maybe to like you said, traveling some expands your mind. You learn about people. You learn.
Yeah.
And of course, my mom and my family, of course, they come first as well. But I honestly, where it comes to meaningful and, discovering people, learning about people, writing about them, and I think I'm doing what I love doing. So as challenging as it is and as difficult sometimes as it can get, I like what I do. I wouldn't change it.
Okay, that's interesting. Very interesting.
And what about you?
I'm just trying to think. Of course, there are things which I wish I could do more of, and like I said, always time is never on my side because of the nature of my job. If you say time and if status and object, status and money was no object, right? I would probably, because I've lived my passion for a very long time now, more than 20 years of it. I've done what I wanted to do. This was my ambition when I was growing up as a child, because I was always into the Superman movies. I wanted to be Lois Lane, wanted to be a reporter. I did all that shit, I wanted to try audio, so I did audio. I wanted to do broadcasting, I did broadcasting. So I've lived, I think, a blessed life. But what I haven't had the chance to do is to spend more time with my parents. So if the question was to make my life more meaningful, I think maybe
Spending with parents.
the time is sort of about right to perhaps put whatever I have achieved to one side a little bit and place the emphasis more on the other now. Because at some point, you've given everything to one thing. Now it's time to give your everything to another. So trying to find that middle ground thing is what would make my life meaningful. Because unlike Elena, I cannot conclude that my life is meaningful right now. I feel blessed to be able to pursue my passion and have my passion and have amazing people around me and the love of amazing people around me. But inside, I still have this discontent that there's still one thing I have yet to fulfill, to be able to come to a point where I am able to just focus on my parents.
Yeah.
And I cannot do that yet, But, time waits for no man. And if you say, I'm going to do it next year, but next year might never come. So you need to
But
find it.
I think when you say if money and status was not an issue, but there's one thing that we cannot change is time.
That's true.
Because time is a commodity that we, even with all the money in the world and even with the
You will still die anyways.
status that you achieve or get or be bestowed with, it's not going to do anything to the time. So time is something that I think we all want to have more of.
More.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
definitely.
maybe whatever little time we have to make it as meaningful as we can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because no one's
definitely.
going to give us extra time over another person. But my dad always says we all have 24 hours in a day. So you're nothing special. You don't need extra because everybody's given the same. So what you do of that time, that's your decision, right? If you want more time to do something else, then you decrease that time with whatever else that you're doing on the other side, right?
Yeah.
So I guess that's the balance which I'm trying to find unsuccessfully at the moment, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay, since we are coming almost to the end of the show, I have one final question. Okay, if you could give a cheat code for your younger self,
A cheat code.
yeah, about finding meaning in life, what would it be? Like a head start, Just, travel back in time. Think about what you've learned up to this point, because now you're all finding meaning and you have found meaning. But if you could sort of go back in time and tell your younger self, dude, this is how it is, when you get forward. So what would it be?
Interesting. Meaning going back to time.
What
and
advice
tell
would you
advice
give to
my
your younger self? Elle.
Take that risk.
Uh-huh.
I think for the longest time, when I stayed stuck in something that I didn't enjoy doing for a long time, it was me being afraid of getting out of my comfort zone and to do things that I've never done before. And the fear was what kept me stuck in one place for so long and wasted so much of time
Right.
that I can't get back. So I would say take that risk while you're young. Pursue whatever you want to do and don't be afraid, because that's the time you can afford to make mistakes at that age.
That's true.
And you should have done that at that age. That's one. And just two things. That one, and to always be grateful.
Yeah.
Have a sense of gratitude. I think we chase too many things.
Yeah.
We forget to be happy.
Yeah, that's true.
We forget to be content. I mean, I'm not saying content and just stay where you are, but I mean to be content, and I'm still learning that.
Yes.
That's, for me, is my biggest challenge at this age, is to be content and to be grateful, and I'm trying to learn that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say take that risk and,
And be grateful.
and be grateful.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Roy?
Well, me from a very young, I have always been a risk taker. I will just heads on, being a Taurus,
Oh, yeah.
a bull, langgar saja. Always to get it done. I would tell my younger self to be, learn how to say no sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a very
Oh, yeah.
difficulty of saying no to almost anyone. I don't know whether I'm too afraid that I might disappoint them. So I would say, okay, I will do it. But then I would tell my younger self, it's okay to say no.
Yeah.
It's
okay to say no.
It's not being people pleasers all the time,
Yeah.
right?
Life
And-
is too short for that.
Yeah.
And then also, same with us as well, being content as well.
Being grateful.
grateful.
Yeah.
When you do certain things, you cannot, like, financially, for you, how much is enough?
Yeah, tell me about it.
It's
never enough.
It's never
Right?
enough.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
So you cannot keep hunting,
Yes.
make millions and whatnot, and then
Yes.
you forget about other things.
Yes.
We are so wise today.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, man! And then when we come out of the studio, we'll be
We'll
like,
be-
I need a promotion. I need more pay.
I need an
need a
increase
better
in my salary. Hello,
I need nicer studio.
bosses, you hearing this?
Okay. Anyways, okay. Like for me, I'd say probably just don't rush to win. Just soak it all in, take it all
Yeah.
in. Life isn't a scoreboard. It's a story. Create memories and hold on to the people and relationships that matter. All
True,
right, because
correct.
you can't please everyone. And at the end of the day, those are the people who will be there to the end, and everything else will just fade away. And also knowing that time is more fragile than it feels. So just live it like it's rare. It's not endless.
Yeah. Just like the captions that I have when you say you're going through my social media,
Yeah.
the word still becoming me.
Right.
So-
Right.
You yourself will always have a version that you want it to be. Just strive for that, but try to find a balance for that as well.
Yeah. Oh
Then
man.
Eventually, you will be the version that you are most happy with,
Yeah. And
not
I'm
the version that people expecting you to be.
correct. And I'm so inclined to say amen to that. But
I mean,
I wanted to say, preach it.
okay, anyway, so yeah, we have come to the end of the show, and it's been
Right.
a very, very stimulating and thought-provoking discussion this
Yeah.
time. Thank you
Yes.
so much, Roy, for
You're most
joining us
welcome.
and sharing your perspectives, and Elena, of course. We're both underachievers
wise.
today, but yeah, we have learned a fair bit. But until the next time, I'm not quite sure what we're gonna be talking about next time. But before I go, I need to remind all you listeners or our audience out there not to forget to get your copy of Sunday Vibes, which is inside the new Sunday Times. Failing which, go to NST online. And we also have an Instagram page, which Elena always tends to forget, but today she will remember because she needs to achieve something today.
Sunday vibes _NST.
There you go. See, Roy, you inspired her to be
I
better
know, I know.
today. Okay, so on that note, we're gonna have to say goodbye, and until the next time, see ya.
Bye.
bye.